Okay, one of the things we need to do now is give the dummy help, well, the dummies and the helpers that make up our rig their own group. So what I'm going to do over here now is select basically our rig parts that we've got, and we're going to create a new new layer here called rig. Okay, now inside rig, obviously we've got these parts. Let's make sure they've got logical names. Circle 1 should now be left foot control. Rename this one logically, therefore. Left foot look at. And again, see if you can work out what this one is. There we go. Okay, and now of course this means we can hide our rig if we need to. What's more useful than that really though is, we can actually hide everything else and just use our rig, which does make things a little bit easier for us. Okay, anyway, let's unhide these parts at the moment, because I need to work on these toesies. Now what I'm going to do is build some manipulators down here that will move our toes, so that when we raise them, we can curl our toes down. So for that, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to our manipulators. I'm going to build a slider, and in my slider label, I'm going to call it left foot toes. Underneath that, I'll put a second one, which I will call right foot toes. It's good to give these things kind of logical names because you are going to obviously use these and you need to know what they are. Okay, let's see. The X position is 0.105. I'll change this one. That way they line up. I know you don't have to, it's just, one of them useful things. Okay, for the values at the minute, I'm going to set a value maximum of 1 on both of these. Just my own convenience. Okay, we're going to start over here with our left foot toes then. That's these. Actually, an easy way to do it. Double click this and then deselect the middle one. Okay. Hide unselected. Or even isolate selection, that'd work better. And what we're going to do is select here. Now I've got two monitors and sometimes this goes off the screen when I do it. So I'm going to right click this and go to wire parameters. Now this is opened on my other monitor, which is outside the recording area, but there's basically two menu options appear. Transform an object, open brackets, slider, close brackets. I'm going to go to the object slider one and open a sub-menu there called value. Then I drag it to my first toe I want to affect, transform its rotation on the y-axis. And I want a one-way transform connection, so the left parameter controls the right parameter and not the other way around. And click connect and then close my window. Now go here to our select and manipulate and just move my slider. Okay, and as you can see it's going up. That's fine for the minute. Okay, so we want to do that to all of our toes. So object slider, value, this one transform rotation on the y-axis and connect. And we're going to go around and do the other three. Okay, and I'm going to do it for the last one now. Obviously I paused so that you don't get to watch me do it for the other, 5 that I just did. So right click on that, wire parameters, object slider, value, and I'm going to select, I think it's our end toe here. Transform rotation on the Y rotation. One way, left to right, connect. there, and as we see, they're all bunching up like that. Now we don't want them to come up like that. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not that much. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this. Our minimum is going to be -1. Our maximum is going to be 0.25. And our standard value is going to be 0. So this means now that we can make our toes do that. Or move up just a little bit, but not too much. A little bit. Which looks a lot healthier for us, really. And if ever you want to actually change the value more exactly, just type it into the value area there. Okay, that's fine. We can also change our snap value incidentally if you want to something like 0.1, which is sometimes a little bit easier. Sorry, yep, there we go. For if you want to be able to snap back to where you were. Okay, exit isolation mode. And now this is obviously all linked in, so... And of course, if you move our rig around, I think I'm just manipulating my mistake there. There we are. There we go, as you see. So it's all moves around properly the way it's supposed to. So I'm going to do the same again now on the right foot. Just isolate this. Okay, and I'll pause and I'll come back to this in just a moment. Actually, this one's opening on this screen, which is more helpful. Right click, wire parameters. There you can see it, object slider, value. Click on this one, transform rotation on the y-axis. I think a lot of it depends on where you're right clicking at the time. Wire parameters, object slider value. See if I can do all of it without boring you to death. That'll be a challenge for me. You're sitting there going, oh God, fast forward. Thank God for fast forward. Meanwhile, yet another review is writing, why does Chris Robson repeatedly decide to go through the entire process? Showing the student the entire process is meaningless and pointless, and students do not benefit from being shown what to do. Why don't they use the methods used in other people's training DVDs, where we do a very, very, very fast time lapse? Thank you, that will be $3,000. There we go. That was a bit cynical of me, really, but... please do bear with me. Okay, and link these ones across. It doesn't take long if you just, know pretty much what you're doing. Only 2 left to go. And the last one. It's quite funny, I did this at Animex. I was showing the students kind of how to use the wire parameters. It was like, wow, it's magic. It's quite funny, if you've never used this before, I keep forgetting, if you've never used something in Max before, of course, it's like, wow, how does that work? That's amazing. Okay, we'll set the minimum to -1, maximum to 0.25, step value to 0.1. There we go. And now we can bring these down and up. There we go. So we've got some clench in the foot as well if we need it, which is useful if we have some slightly uneven ground. We could make sliders for each individual toe if we wanted. It depends really on how much you want to put into it. Right, there's our sliders there. Our sliders are part of our rig. So let's make sure they are in our rig area. Yep, they are. See? And having them there makes it a lot easier for us to clean our screen, because otherwise these will stay in our perspective pretty much forever. Okay. So with both the slide manipulators set up for our 2 toesies, we can now move on to the next part.